My friends, as you know, I do not normally jump right into interviews, but I got Anthony Dahya in the house. Anthony is the podcast host of Championship Mindset Collective. This guy is my brother from another mother. He has a show and infrastructure that is so uncannily similar to what my team of six and I, really, it's been a team of over 15 at points, have been able to build. And he's done a lot of that by himself. I'm just amazed. He's like that guy who can play the drums, toot the trumpet, play the piano, sing at the same time. He's just a super rock star. But more importantly, my friends, he's got the golden heart that leadership requires when you want to be involved in the Vision Pros atmosphere. And so we have the privilege of learning a lot from him today. He has no idea that I was going to do this, by the way. I see him in the back and he's kind of smiling about it. But guys, I can't say enough about finding visionaries like Anthony who are really, they understand the industry. They understand how to show up as people and how to lead. And he takes such great care of his guests too. I was on his show this week myself. Or last week. I get my days crossed these days, but I want to show a little bit about the vision that he's built first. And I don't do this often again because most people don't have a brand I can honor this much, but he's done a great job of putting his thoughts, collective feelings, and AI to great use to be able to build out pages like this sponsorship page, where he understands that it's not just about running our mouth on the microphone. We have to create sustainability for ourselves in the process. And he's been able to tap into AI in a way that helps him understand what types of packages business owners might want as he continues to build out his show and build out his public facing presence. But I want you to look at these tabs across the top too. He's got an academy that goes along with this. I love how fast that loads. My goodness, whatever he built with, that's cool. And in addition to his academy, he's got his championship circle as well, his connections and his blog. And of course, you can go and listen to the show itself. But the amount of diligence that it takes, my friends, to put this type of infrastructure together and this type of vision, he's not just building a podcast, he's building a media company, he's building a community, he's building a kingdom. As the name indicates, he's building a championship or champion mindset collective, guys. Dan Martell, SaaS Academy. Go back to Dan. He says the most important thing that an entrepreneur can work on is their mindset. Guys, it is tough. If you're going to be an entrepreneur with the vision that you launch, then it's very important to try to collect people like myself, people like Anthony, people like Dan Martell, people like Ray Dalio, people like Peter Drucker, people like Brene Brown. There's so many leaders that if we can collect them into our circle, learn from them, and start to apply the disciplines they've applied to their life, we can amplify our own visions as well. Anthony, welcome in, man. You are such a stud. I'm so happy to have you on Vision Pros Live.
Thanks, Jackson. It's great to be here.
Absolutely. So, Anthony, let's dive right in. Tell me about your vision. I did my best to kind of summarize what I've seen, but I'm only looking through a hole like this, you know? Tell me all
Yeah.
about your vision.
Yeah. So, look, I probably need to step back a bit. Like, I spent, I'll just give you a little bit of a brief overview
Yeah.
of my life. So, at the age of 5, my parents separated, and I got sent to an ashram in India, a boarding school that was literally crossed between army and prison, barbed wire fences.
I'm sorry to
For
interrupt. What happened to your parents?
my parents separated through family
They
interference.
separated. Okay, I heard a
Yeah,
different word.
and
They separated,
yeah,
though. Go continue.
and I got sent at the age of 7 to an ashram, a boarding school, which is literally cross between army and prison. Barbed wire fences, you weren't allowed out. And for me, the story or the narrative at the time was that I've been rejected, no one loves me, I've been abandoned. Now, if I fast forward to that into the future,
So
I spent about 25 to 30 years in corporate world and uh, went through something like 24 restructures and 4 redundancies. Now, and every one of those took me back to my 7-year-old self in that ashram, the boarding school. And it got to a point where the job became a prison to me. Now, while I was in the corporate world, of course, I was learning lots. I didn't pass school or anything like that. I went straight into working at the age of 16 in a factory, and I've been working all my life. And I always believed and backed in my own ability and my own, what I can achieve anything I want if I just put my mind to it. And so my personal development journey started back when I was 26 or 18 to
wow.
26. So having learned a lot in the corporate world, I started going into roles where I wanted to solve problems. Like I didn't want to do tasks. I actually wanted to solve big
Mm,
real world problems. And so I did a lot of that where I transformed businesses from within by implementing implementing ways of working that would that no other person would have ever thought about. And so I started doing that. But yeah, after about four redundancies, actually it was my third redundancy in 2023, when I was about to leave this organization, and I was teaching these 7 guys um, about champion mindset and about having a growth mindset, because I wanted them to create a support network where they could support each other. Now, I left that organization and then I went into coaching, mindset coaching, and I discovered
how old were you?
podcasting. Oh, this is only 2023. I'm 55 now, so it's only 3, 4
Are
years
you
ago.
really? I look
Yeah.
older than you. That's not fair. Okay.
Yeah. But the thing is that when I left that organization and I started the podcast, called the Champion Mindset Collective, the vision around that was, as Mahatma Gandhi said, be the change in the world that you want to see. And I
Yeah.
thought to myself, well, if I can create an impact and if I can be that change in the world, then I can help people heal from their rejection, from their abandonment. And for people, rather than people go through the cycle that I went through for 40 something years of, this looping through that cycle and the patterns, to actually help them heal, become whole, and to live the rest of their life with the full potential that they have, right?
Wow.
So the whole basis of the Champion Mindset Collective is actually, it's not just a podcast. It's an ecosystem. It's a community. It's a movement where I want to be the change in this, and I want to create an impact. And I can't do this by myself because I've got to have people like yourself, you know,
Yeah.
and every other guest that's been on this on the Champion Mindset Collective as a collective to help change our, we can change our lives ourselves,
Right.
but together we can change the world.
Oh, absolutely. I absolutely love that, guys. I hope that you take some time to give a virtual standing ovation to Anthony for who he's become and the transformation that you've been able to have. I could not have imagined you ever being somebody who wonders about how much people love you because you're just so loving. Like you exude that in the world. So, Anthony, I also want you to take a little bit of time to think about it while we go for a little bit of a break about when you were 26 years old. You said you got into personal development a little bit, or that came on your radar. I want to come back and talk about what it was. What was it that put that on your radar, and maybe why? What was going on in life that triggered that shift? All right, welcome in to Vision Pros Live with Jackson Callum. I'm your show host. We will be doing interviews for visionary entrepreneurs and guest leaders who are building fantastic visions out there. What's up, my friends? I am so blessed and excited to have Anthony in the house. Anthony of Mindset Collective, Champion Mindset Collective. I just got to be on his show. He does a phenomenal job with his show and how he's doing things. He actually has decided to become a client of ours, and we're going to be helping him on launching his YouTube channel and infrastructure. And I'm also looking at, well, how do I become a client of his? His insight on how to build some of our stuff. That's just the abundant mindset, my friends. 1 + 1, you bring the right people together, equals 11. We have the opportunity to do just that. And so as I get ready to bring him back on stage, I also want to make sure that I point out some opportunities for each one of you to take some action on. There's this thing up here called the AI Mavericks. AI Mavericks is actually by Austin Armstrong and Scott Simpson. They don't pay me to put them up there in that sponsorship category. I pay to be part of their program. They really do like the advanced AI stuff that I don't touch yet. And I look at it more for like a newspaper for me, because I like to stick in the super pragmatic world of AI, and I let my team play with some of the stuff of what they do. I encourage them to go and learn about the future of it. But that's my news source. If I'm going to learn from people, I also want to learn from people that I trust from a values driven standpoint. Those two gentlemen are guys that I trust. Then there's the AI marketplace, and that's something that we've built, ai.firstclassbusiness.io /depth, DEPTH. Go check out the deep page and see why it is that we're building AI and why we call it authentic intelligence. The artificial intelligence is nice and important, but if we don't learn how to dive into our authentic intelligence as we use it, if we're not great leaders for AI, I see so many people being manipulated and coerced into doing things with their brands that are just so off-putting and so repulsive, and brands falling into traps that are also going to hurt them. Guys, it's very important we use these tools responsibly. If you want to be productive and profitable, those are our two main focus. I want to make sure that my AI is driving new revenues, not ruining my reputation faster than I can even think. Then there's the water project, my friends. If I'm going to rock this microphone for a living and we're going to listen to a podcast, we're probably all in a position where we can at least tell people about the water project. There are millions of people in Africa who don't have access to AI. In fact, they don't even have access to clean drinking water. And the Water Project finds those communities. And if you give even, I think, $10 to the Water Project, I usually give 20 when I do this, then you get to pick which community you want to help. You get to see how many people in the community are going to be served by it. And they will then send you the report of that actual project coming to fruition. It is one of the most transparent causes I've ever seen. And so before we move back into Anthony and finding out about his vision in order to amplify your own, my friends, there's 8 billion people on this planet to help, and I hope we pull together to do just that. So if you know of a cause that you'd also like to bring up, drop it in the comments. Let us know about the cause. I personally vow to look at that cause myself and to see what we might be able to do to help with it. And that would be you just taking, I don't know, 5 minutes, maybe 15 minutes to find something good, put it in front of me, and help move the world forward. All right, without further ado, let's move all of your worlds forward. Anthony, again, it is such an honor to have you here.
Thanks, Jackson.
Absolutely. 26-year-old Anthony, a couple years ago, right? A couple decades ago, you were looking at personal development for some reason. What was the reason? What did you come across? I'm dying to hear it.
Yeah, I probably need to go back to my 18-year-old self, actually, before I do that. Actually, 15-year-old self. So I remember as I mentioned, my parents separated, but then my dad got remarried. And my stepmother and I never really got along. But I remember I was listening to Michael Jackson on the Walkman, and she didn't like it. Yeah, well,
Man of the Year!
I can't remember what it was, but back in the 80s. She didn't like it, and her and I had this argument. And long story short, she pushed me. I said I was going to go and see my mum, who I never knew until I was 21. But anyway, I slapped her because she called my mum a bitch, and then Dad came home. I got a bit of a beating and a hiding, and he said to me, "You're useless. You'll never amount to anything. You'll never be a singer." And I wanted to prove to him and myself that I could do this. And I think that was a turning point for me. Was like whenever someone says to me, "You can't do this," I went, "Let me show you." So that, then I joined the church and became a singer, but then the music director says to me, "We can barely hear you. Your voice is so small. We can barely hear you. You need to go get some singing lessons." So, which I did, and what happened from there was that after a few years, I invited my dad back to come to this event that I was singing at a bar, and he sat there and he cried, and he realized that what he had said had made me stronger. And from that day onwards, he was like my biggest fan. But what happened through that journey was that I built up this mindset of, anything is possible. I can achieve anything. If one human being has done something, there's no reason I can't do it, right? And it's really just a mindset. So when I was 26, I got married at 25, and my ex-wife and I had a stillborn baby.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
And it was tough. There was a lot going on. I almost lost her. She was in a coma for like 2 weeks, and that was a time where I had to really dig deep and go on this journey of becoming a different version of myself. And all through my life, I've done that, but I'd never really healed in my life from the childhood trauma that I'd been through, the abandonment and rejection. And it's only in the last 10 to 15 years that I've done the work to actually heal from that. And so, what I'm creating here with the Champion Mindset Collective is a way for people to listen to other people's stories, to come and join me and on the academy to learn how to recognize these patterns, how to be able to get help and deal with those things now, not another 10, 20, 30 years later and be stuck in that loop, but to heal from those things now so that you're set up for the next 30, 40 years of your life to enjoy your life. You know, it's like, I believe that some of us have to go through the really hard stuff because God, universe has brought
Yes.
us to this world to be the champion for the others who are who need the guidance and so on. So we are you've got the Martin Luther Kings, the Mahatma Gandhis. They were on this earth to create a movement and to change the world. And I believe I'm one of those people. And Jackson, you're the same. You're here to
Yes.
do the same as well. So
100%. Oh my
yeah,
gosh, Anthony, my friends, this is probably one of the most powerful vision opportunities that we've ever had the opportunity to be a part of. All of us, everybody listening in, I hope you can really feel why. The person who introduced me to Anthony is one of the most spiritually in tune people I've ever met. His name is Jay Setchel. He's had 7 extreme near death experiences. I think that's the number. I'm talking about like neck broken, and war related incidents as well. When you meet Jay and you hear his story, you're like, okay, this guy might be a little crazy. Like you just don't know if it's going to add up. And then the longer he talks, the more you realize, like, holy crap, this guy is a walking legend and miracle, or in this case right now, sitting legend in his wheelchair. And so here Jay put me and Anthony in touch and was like, you guys, should really catch up. And Anthony lives in New Zealand. I live in Ecuador. We're on like the exact opposite sides of the planet, basically. And I'm from Texas, and so is Jay. He's from Texas. So he's on the opposite side of the world from me as well. And in addition, and then sure enough, Damon Flower, got to give a big shout out to him. He had the same, he's like, hey, you and Anthony and Jackson, you guys should meet, right? And like within a couple of weeks from each other, we get connected together from opposite ends of the world. Like, that's just nuts. And we have such similar kindred spirit stories in regards to our childhood. And as I'm listening to you, my mouth is like drop. I'm like, holy crap. We have been through so many similar realities too. You're probably sitting there on the podcast interviewing me going like, holy crap. Jackson, you were a better host than me. Just listen. I'm like, I'm like taking over, but it's because guys, these I just hope that all of you can see that things happen for a reason. And he's speaking for me and he's speaking for my heart. Like, yeah, it took me a while to be able to accept that I didn't just love the stories that I learned about Helen Keller and Martin Luther King and Thomas Edison and Benjamin Franklin. And I can keep going down the list of Harriet Tubman, et cetera. Like, and I grew up in a community that was predominantly Jewish. And as such, we were so blessed to have Holocaust members come almost every month and talk to us about their experience of going through the Holocaust experience. And I read a ton of fiction related, historical fiction related to the experiences that those individuals had. And I always just felt incredibly drawn to, okay, maybe I'm supposed to do something with my life related to this. And so I'm glad that you brought it to fruition by speaking it out loud and ultimately manifesting it, Anthony, because yes, 100%. I'm designed to help bridge the economic gap between North America, South America, and the rest of the world. And I just want to hang on to you for life now, and be like, dude, Anthony, don't go anywhere that I'm not getting to go to. And I'm going to go back to one more important quote, my friends. And this comes from a man named Gordon B. Hinckley. He said, the world will tear you down, and the world will tear others down. Lift people up. Our role is to lift people back up. Right. And I loved that call to say it is not our job to tear people down. It's not. That's not our responsibility. It's not our duty. It's not a good thing to do. We can lift each other up. And that's exactly, Anthony, you've given me a gift of gold today, that while it may seem small and trivial to some of you listening, like, well, wait, that you guys have tons of followers and blah, but guys, it's hard. it's not easy to build a vision and to help people see the value of it and move it forward. So thank you for including me in that thought process, Anthony. If this was the we're gonna bring Anthony back, and me and him are gonna be developing over the next couple of months different ideas and strands and themes of how do we make this 40 to 60-minute interview that we do later as impactful as possible. But if this happens to be our last chance and your last chance ever, Anthony, to inspire visionaries out there and provide guidance, what would the feedback be?
I think you gotta show up as your authentic self, no matter what. And I feel also that a lot of us hide the the things that we've been through, the experiences we've been through. But those are the things that make you authentic. Those are the things that make you vulnerable. Those are the things that actually speak to other people. And we are so outwardly looking at uh, whether you're in business and so on, but really, I was on my latest episode with Chad Coe. He talks about you can do sales, but you've got to build the trust and the respect. And the only way you can build trust and respect is by being authentic and being your true self. So if you're feeling like you're actually not showing up as your authentic self, it's time to start stripping off those masks that you've put on and
Wow.
start getting back to your core, which is your pure self when you were first born. Like before you came to this earth, you were at your purest form. And over time, there was a whole lot of crud that went on top, and then you've put these masks on to hide your true self. And I think if you can dig deep and show who you are beneath the surface, uh, then you're going to see. If you look at the AI world,
Yeah.
AI amplifies everything that is beneath.
Mm,
So so you just got to
that's
look at
true.
that. Yeah, so
When
think
it's
of it
not
that
lying,
when it's
when
not
it's
lying.
not lying and amplify. I'm just teasing, but
But
keep
that's
going.
like we're on this journey of learning, and a lot of people with AI are like, "Oh, I did this and it didn't work, and it gave me the wrong answer. I'm never going to use it again." It's like, well, hang on, this is the worst it's ever going to be, right? It's
Hmm.
only going to
True.
get better. So
Right.
it takes patience and perseverance and persistence, and you've got to train AI. I've been able to train it for clients who have like chat agents on their websites and like a voice agent that takes bookings and things like that. Um,
Hmm.
and what we've done is we've had to iterate it. We had to make sure that if there's anything that we need to iron out, that we do that. And it's look, it's every human is a work in progress, and you never get there. It's a journey, not a destination. And my advice is just really, yeah, be authentic, be vulnerable, and share your story because your story is the one that's going to help others. Not your job, not your
Yeah.
title, not what you do.
Mm.
That's not going to help others. Your story is, and I've learned this recently, is that people have said to me, "Oh, why do you keep talking about your redundancies? Why do you keep talking about your abandonment?" I said, "Well, I'm not tied to it. I'm
Right.
not, what I'm doing is I'm sharing my experience and
Yep.
saying, this is what I went through. And if you keep going through this yourself, you're going to be stuck for the next 30, 40 years. But
Right.
imagine if you could heal today.
Yeah.
Imagine what your future is going to look like. Yeah.
Huge. There's so much nuance in the wisdom that you shared that I'm going to play angel's advocate on this one a little bit. And so one, Vision Pros, I hope that I do my absolute best to be my authentic self for each of you as I do these interviews and as I show up. And I know Anthony feels the same. And I also want to caution you that if you're not in an environment that appreciates your authentic self, sometimes it is very important to put the mask on. I grew up in an environment where I had to do that in order to survive. And where that's not the healthiest reality. But how do we take control over our life if we have the opportunity to move from that environment to an environment that appreciates us? Huge shout out to Taylor Welch, who said, "Don't share your goals with small-minded people. Is if you share your goals with small-minded people, they're going to tear you down. But that doesn't mean never share your goals. It means find environments where you're safe. My hope is that champion mindset collective, and the AI marketplace, and we build a first-class business, and we can become havens where you can feel the confidence to come in, be your true authentic self, talk about your goals, share the opportunities for growth with those around you. The more people that you start to put around yourself, even if you're limited to being able to do it virtually. Guys, I live in Ecuador right now. I was in Colombia a couple months ago. So most of my relationships are virtual relationships. That doesn't take away from the physical environments where I also have communities of some type, or a church where I get to go and participate in one session or one type. But I need to continue to surround myself with a type of leaders who are going to empower me to be my most authentic self. And again, if you don't have that, be very careful with who you open that up to. And like I said, come and join us, because we've got an environment where we absolutely want to celebrate your authenticity. And we will see you on the other side of that. So Anthony, again, thanks for being here today. This was awesome. We're going to schedule that 40 to 60 minute session, guys. And we're going to dive into not just all things AI and what's possible with the AI side, but really dive into a deeper level of infrastructure and what it's taken to build the communities that we've built, the systems that we've built, the companies that we've helped launch their visions. It's going to be an absolute, I can't imagine the amount of bombshells we're going to drop in terms of value for visionary leaders who are building, especially if you're newer. So share with friends and family, and we'll see you guys on the next episode. Thank you for being here today. I'm really happy that you tuned in to Vision Pros Live. I'm looking forward to seeing your reactions as these episodes continue to move forward. This is going to get more and more fun. We'll have more and more engagement as well. We'll invite people to participate in the show. And thank you for giving us your time and attention. Have an excellent time building out your vision and becoming a vision pro yourself.